YouTube? Archie back. Today I'm doing a video of the late great Jim Morrison, a legend of his time, very intelligent man, but I can go on all day about him and his greatness, but I need to go over something that's been on my mind about his death. I'm sure there's been many theories of why he did what he did. And the only reason, in this video, I asked you to make a comment on if you yourself have thought of this theory I am going to bring up. As you can see, this mystic man, mystic face, and of course in his music and poetry you can tell he was a mystic person. You would never ever know what would come from this man next. I swear to God. Even, the band members said he was very unpredictable. And I like to put a shout out on, I made a video for Ray Manzarek, who passed away a couple months ago. Really bummed of that. I made a video and a tribute of him. As for Robbie Krieger and John Densmore, I hope you guys live well. And hope you guys can move on from that. It's a great family member he was. But anyways, my theory on why Jim did what he did, if he is still alive, which we all know he probably isn't, but if he is, I have a theory of why he disappeared if he is still alive. I wish he was, but I had a dream once of Jim. In one of my weird dream videos, I say about seeing Jim on a bike, which he normally would ride throughout the streets of California. In videos I owned before, like stories of their lives and the Doors lifestyle. But he went up to this apartment. I'm gonna see this crazy old man that lives up there. When he came back down, he was white as a ghost. Eyes were black, and he was obviously dead. Maybe there was a contact from the dead of Jim Morrison to me, which I've had dreams of that before, of contact with the dead of people who had recently died in my life. And of course he didn't recently die, but maybe he wanted to let me see, as much as I wanted to meet the guy, like everybody else. He's gone. But if he is still alive, now, in Paris, everyone knows that he went out there in 1971, and that's the year he passed away. Now, if you don't know that Jim Morrison went out into Paris in 1970, which you can find that in the book, No One Here Gets Out Alive, and they speak of Jim going to Paris in 1970. Obviously, this trip was for him to find a place to live for him and Pam, and get out of the hectic rock and roll lifestyle he no longer wanted to be in. Everyone knows that Jim wanted to be a poet. Badly. And I mean severely badly he wanted to be a poet. But you also don't see poetry and poets come out with books year after year after year after year. It's tough to write a poem, I know. You gotta put them to make it not sound or even be the same as someone else's, or even at that be the same of yours, and come up and use the words properly. No, it's tough. When you do come up with one, hey, it is a treasure. His poetry, of course, is great. No question there. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, you don't see many poets make it. So I think that devastated Jim. I know it did. I mean, even it says it in the book. He was devastated. He did. He wanted to be a poet. So I mean, he just had to stay in this rock and roll lifestyle that he did not want to be. But what can you do? But in 1970, he did visit Paris. Now, could it be some crazy thought and theory I have? And think about this, of why Jim wanted to leave. Not only to get away from jail and the corrupt, court case he was going through in 1969 of the assholes saying that he was jerking off on stage, playing with himself, or whatnot. Jim could do things to make you believe and see, and he wasn't really doing it. That's a fact. Ray Manzarek was there, Robbie, and, John, and I'm sure the damn to the fact that Jim did not go masturbating, and I mean, yeah, he maybe showed it, and, come on. Get real. Like the lawyer said, there's a nudist thing going on in California at the time, and they still do that, nude art. You stand there bare-ass naked, and you get your friggin' portrait molded into clay, alright? Get real. It's art. Jim was art. He did push boundaries, and I mean, in my tribute I say that, in my Ray Manzarek dead. What the fuck? No, I say Ray Manzarek dead, and it's, God damn it. God fucking kills the good. So anyways, could it be when Jim went out to Paris in 1970? Think about this. Black Sabbath was on tour or doing shows at that in Paris in 1970. Could it be that Jim caught a show of Black Sabbath and saw the crazed madman himself, Ozzy Osbourne, on stage? Now, Jim, I could say, I'm sure he wasn't intimidated. I'm sure that he could keep up with the times if he was to make music and continue to make music. But could it be that Jim passed the torch on to Ozzy? If you think about it, Paris, 1970. Yeah, Black Sabbath did a show. Could it be that Jim passed that torch on to him and disappeared? Faked his death is right. Not just to get away from the law, not just to get away from, the music, just to get away from, the future of music, because he knew it was going to change. Maybe he felt intimidated. Maybe he thought that his music was done because the times are changing. And he even said it himself once in a video, in an interview, that electronic drum, and I've said it before, that electronic drum is going to change the music industry, pretty much, he said, and it's going to be a big thing in the future. And that leads to what? Hip-hop and rap. Electronic drum. Some bands use it, like 9 Inch Nails. Trent Reznor, is a genius coming to electronic drums in his music. And I'll tell you right now, that man, Trent Reznor, don't need a band to play his music. He is the band, he is the music, and it's all because of electronic drum. So with these predictions and with these, and of course when Black Sabbath came out, they said they wanted to scare the world. They wanted to bring something new, and they did. And I think Jim saw it in my eyes, in my thoughts, my theories. So that's something to think of. If you have thought of this, I would appreciate comments to let me know you have too thought of this thought. If not, there's a thought and theory to think of. Until the next video, like I said, working on lots more. Catching the time is what's the point in. I'll see you on the next one. Out.